Hi, it's Cindy Fodor with stampthelove.blogspot.com. Coming to you today to show you this really amazing triple easel card. I want to show it to you from this side so you can see what I mean. So there's 3 pop-ups on it. And this is how it folds down. It's a little bulky. It doesn't want to lay flat, but it does lay flat to send. And I'm pretty sure I can send it with no extra postage. So I hope you enjoy. I will walk you through the steps as carefully as I can, and then I will post below with the measurements of the card. Okay, so we're starting with, I'm going to score my card stock. I'm starting with mint macaron at 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm scoring it at 5 1/2 and 8 1/4. I already did the 5 1/2. All right, so that's going to give me my base card, and then it's going to give me my first easel part. Okay, and let me go ahead and score the other ones. My next easel is 3 by 6, so I'm going to score that at 3. And then the smallest one is 2 by 4, and I'm going to score that at 2. And then I can put this away. All right. Okay, so let's start with this one. For this layer, I'm using a piece of early espresso at 4 1/8 by 5 3/4. And then my designer paper is another 1/8 of an inch smaller, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. And this is from our Ornate Garden Suite, this Ornate Garden Designer Series paper. It's so pretty. So it's got some daisies in it, and I'm sort of pairing it a little bit with sunflower. So I'm going to show you the combination of the two. I'm going to go ahead and use snail. Well, actually, I'm going to use snail to put this piece on, but I'm going to show you, usually cards that have movement, I tend to either use fast fuse or tear and tape or green glue, Tombow, because snail does not hold strong enough or long enough to keep everything in place. But for that piece, it should be okay. But for this part, I'm going to put some green glue on here. It's because we don't carry fast fuse anymore. We will have a new adhesive coming out called Seal Plus that will work great for this. I'm going to try to get a nice little even edge. The nice thing about this is that you can move it. Looks like I really cut that crooked. That is not a good thing. Do not like crooked. Okay. But when it folds down, you're not going to see too much of the bottom, so that'll be okay. All right, so there's my first easel. Let's go ahead and finish the top of this. So on this one, I tied around the whole thing some ribbon. We're not going to be carrying that anymore. So I'm sort of showing you past things and future things. Okay, so this is a past, present, and future. So on the 3rd, we will have this new ribbon. It's called Early Espresso. I think it's called a suede or faux suede. Really nice and soft. It's not shiny, but it's also not terribly woven looking. So very pretty. I actually wanted to tuck this behind this layer, but I think I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I'm also using our new Antique Corner Slides and Elements. In one of my previous videos, I showed you the little corners that I used, and this one I'm going to show you the slide. So what I did was I just slid this ribbon through here, and it's the perfect fit for this. Looks like it was made for it. Which obviously it was. So I'm going to just tuck this behind my card here. And I'm going to use a glue dot for that because I really need that to stay. Tuck that down. And tuck that down. There we go. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's see, what is next? Oh, we need to do our little greeting here. Now, that's where I'm going to also show you a couple of ideas. Let me go back to this one. For this one, I actually took our Memories and More kit and pulled out one of the cards. And I really liked the sunflowers that were on the back of the card. And so that was a perfect fit for this. And then I just stamped the saying there. But I want to show you, in case you don't have those, how you can take the sunflower stamp. And I don't like the sunflower stamp stamped there because it's too large, so it doesn't gives you a few leaves, but not enough to look nice. So what I did was I took the stamp, and let me grab my circle here. Let's scoot this over. I'm going to put it on white just because I'm going to be stamping off the edge. And I just inked part of my stamp. Oh, I forgot. I wasted an image too because I didn't want it to be real bright. Let me flip that over, because I want my thanks to show up. So I stamped this 3 times, stamping off in between each one. And I filled it with little leaves like that. Okay? I'm finished with this, so let me just get rid of that. And then I took my thanks from the ornate, where did I lay that? Ornate thanks. And only the thanks is going to fit on here. The other ones are too big. So I'm going to be using that. And then I'm also using my friend. Seriously would fit too, but I'm going to do my friend on that one. So early espresso and the large thanks. And I really want to make sure that's inked good. New stamps tend to need inked, or maybe another thing I've done is just taken it and rubbed it on paper before I inked it, just to, there seems to be a little, I don't know, something on the edge of the stamps whenever you get them that sometimes they don't want to grab all the ink, but that looks really good. Okay, so done with that one. And let's see. So I've got 2 choices here. Which one do I like best? I like this one. I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals. So let me put a couple on here. I only have little ones here, although this one could easily use a larger one. And I'm just going to get these babies off of here. I think I missed that one. These little ones are a little harder to do this with than the large ones. But I do love not having to sit there and try to take it off with my fingernail. And then that's going to sit right on there. Okay, so we have the front finished, very simple. And then we're ready for the inside. So the next piece is my 3x3, and I have that scored already. I'll just scoot this aside. And I'm going to go ahead and fold that. Oh, I forgot to score it twice. Shoot. For this to work right, of course, you've got to have that second fold. So my next, let me grab my scoring tool here quick. I did 3, so I also need to do at 4.5. So everything is a half, like half of 3 is 1.5 inches. Let me go ahead and do this one. So this one was at 2 inches, so I'm going to do this at 3. Okay. Now I think I'm finished with that. All right. Okay, so let me go ahead and fold this one down and burnish it well. All right, so this is going to get glued down to my base, and I just need to decide where I want this piece to stop, because the edge of that card is going to be what makes that stand. So I like that there pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to lift this and put green glue on the bottom. And just in case you haven't watched me before, our liquid Tombow is what I call green glue, just because it's in a green bottle. It's easier than saying that bottle there, you know, which bottle. It's the green glue. Okay, that's glued down. That's ready. Now let's decorate that part. For this one, I'm going to do it fairly much the same. I'm going to use this designer paper, same designer paper, Ornate Garden, but I'm going to change my flower up because I want it to go more with this flower, this color, rather than the white. So let me get my 3x3 inch piece of designer paper, and I can only glue that to the bottom here. So I'm going to just go across there. I should have used Tombow here. I might just put a tad of that here just so that it doesn't, don't want that to come off. And I'm just going to center this. I did cut this a little smaller than 3x3. I cut it 2 7/8 so that I could see a little bit of the brown around it, so that when it stands up, it will look like that. All right. Now let's go ahead and put, you know what? I will tell you this. On my other card, I actually put a piece of cardstock behind it because designer paper isn't quite sturdy enough to stand up on its own, plus support a flower. So when I put this flower here, I'm going to have to keep it down a little bit so that there's some support here with the brown piece. All right. Let's see. Did I cut my flowers out? So I'm using our Bumblebee Yellow for the flowers instead of the white. Just gonna punch those. Okay. Now I have two options for the centers of the flowers. Let me go ahead and glue this together so it dries so I can, whoops, probably a little much glue. I might just dab some of that off. It'll be sliding all over the place. Alrighty. Okay. Nice thing with this is you can slide it a little bit till you get it exactly in place. Want to do two more things with it. We need a center. So for this one, I used our, they're called Perennial Essence Floral Centers. I love these things. They are going bye-byes. So if you have some, or if you didn't get some and you want to still get some, I think they're still available. They're fuzzy, they're raised slightly. They're just the cutest things. I really can't imagine that we're not going to have these. But I want to show you, I obviously don't want yellow now because my flower is yellow. So I'm going to show you what I did. I took our bronzer, or you could use the Soft Suede Blends, the alcohol marker. And I did one here. And I'll show you how I did it, just because I want you to see how easy it is to do. However, it does ruin your nail polish, just to let you know that. So I just took my marker, holding it. Actually, if I use this, I won't ruin my fingernail. How's that sound? So I just took this and I just sort of worked it in here. Trying not to smash down the fibers, but to let them stick up. You see, I'm sort of flipping it around and like I'm combing hair, maybe. So you want the fuzz on it to still be sort of fuzzy. And I'm trying to get these outer edges as well because they are yellow. And you can even pick it up to do that if you need to. And now I have made my center darker so that it will look nice on top of this, and it will take a few seconds to dry. It dries pretty fast. And there we go. Doesn't that look cute? Now the other option is, in case you don't have these or cannot get these, The other option is the gold faceted gems. And they are here. And they look like this. Let me just pull one of them out here. These are the larger ones here. Well, these are the medium and the small, I believe. And they are sort of gold clear, so they're not real bright gold. But you can also color these. So I'm going to take that same pen, same blend, and I'm going to just add a little bit of color to this. Can you see the difference? And you can just see how that light shines through it. It's so pretty. All right, so, and I always come back, if I want it darker, let it dry for a few seconds, come back and add a little bit more color. So I think that's the one that I'm going to go ahead and use for my flower center. And don't stick to my fingernail. All right, let's get him in place here. There we go. All right, get rid of those. Looks like I got it a little offside here. All right, now that's ready to go on. But one other thing I like to do with these flowers is I like to give them a little dimension. And so if you just take it like this with your bone folder and just gently, just so you don't rip off the petals, just gently curl. Now I have a little, whoops, I see that wasn't dry yet. This is not what I wanted to do. And I sort of like it to be double layered. So if you want to come back in and take every other petal and just curl it just a little bit more, you'll get a little bit more dimension and it'll look more real. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to still pull them up just a little. All right, now I'm going to use a glue dot to put that on, and then I'm going to add a little bit more color to that flower center since I used it too quickly and wiped too much of it off. So I'm going to position that right there. So that's going to be our second easel. Let me just add the color to that while we work with the third layer. Now I'm not going down over the edges this time because I will get it on my flower and I don't want that. Okay. Next, we have our third easel, and I'm going to go ahead and fold that, let me think, I did that wrong, fold that this way. All right. The other thing that I want to tell you about these easels is they tend, if you get them too top heavy, which with this up here, it's going to be very top heavy with my little metal piece. So I may, in fact, I think on this one, I may have added a little extra. Yeah, here you can see it. Inside, I put a little extra piece of cardstock. It wasn't necessary for the card, but I just put it to add extra weight so that it would stand down whenever it opened, whenever it was supposed to stand up, because you see how that wants to flip up. So I will add a little bit of extra cardstock there so that that will stay down. You could even put a lightweight piece of cardboard from the back of our designer papers if you want to do that. Okay. So this one now will go inside of here. And once again, I'm going to see where I want that one to open, how I want it to sit. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to center this. And now I can lay this back and add my glue to the back of that piece. Got a little much there. So I'm going to be careful so I don't squeeze it out. Okay, that piece is down. Now we're going to design the front of that, and I'm using a 2x2 piece of another design of daisy from the same Ornate Garden Suite. And I'm putting a piece of vellum on it because I want it to be a little quieter. So you can see how that just quiets down that color. So the only place that I like to glue vellum so that it doesn't show is underneath whatever's going to be on top of it. And on top of it, we're going to put a tag. So let's go ahead and do our tag first, and then we'll finish that part. Once again, I'm using our mini tags punch. Makes several different designs. I'm going to go ahead and punch the one end. I'm using the 1/2 inch size this time. So that's going to fit in the very bottom. You can see that it doesn't quite fit in. So I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to make sure that it's lined up with the small design. And I can adjust it either by moving my hand back here and moving the paper, or I can come in here and just tap it either way, however much I need to do that. All right, now this little piece, you want to probably keep that because that's going to help you know how much you need to leave on this side. Looks like I've got something on that side, so I'm going to turn that around. Okay, let me get this in screen here. All right, so now I'm going to stamp my friend in Early Espresso. Okay, and let me just wash that. I do not like to leave brown on my photopolymer stamps because it has red in it and it tends to want to stain a little bit of pink. So clean that right away. All right, now this little piece here tells me how far this is what this is gonna take off when it punches. So if I lay this right here and I line it up with my design, so I want about the same amount on either side, and then I can take a pencil and actually make a little line right here so that I know where to cut this off. So that gets cut off right here. And now I'm able to stick this back in. But the problem is this is too short. So I need to add a little bit to the end of this. And then I lost my piece. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive. Let's see, this is the end I'm punching. So I'm going to opposite end, I'm going to put a little bit of snail. I like snail because it will come off more easily than other things. Okay. I think that, oh, there it is. It was sticking in my arm. I already had a little bit of adhesive on it because I had done it before. Okay, so I'm adding a little extra piece here to the end that's already punched. And that will give me a little more length to fit in here. Okay, so I'm going to scoot that the whole way in. I know that I can punch the whole way in because I've already measured it. I'm going to turn it over and check once again to make sure that it's lined up well, and I can go ahead and punch that off. And now I should have a piece that's exactly how I wanted it. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and put this together. So I'm first going to go ahead and put this on my vellum because I don't really, I'm having issues with this thing today. I don't want to put glue on my vellum until I know exactly where it's going to be safe. Okay, so now I'm going to put glue right back here. And that now I can place it on my designer paper. Hello. I don't think I need you right now. It's sticking before I'm ready. All right, stop. All right, here we go. I did cut this just a hair smaller. All right. Now, once again, I can only glue it on the bottom part. So for safety, I'm going to put my glue here. Now I can lay that down. Put that in place. All right. Now, let me just show you what we have. Once again, these are very heavy up on top, so I'm going to add a little bit of a little piece of cardstock under here and under here to hold those down. This one is not going to be a problem, and I'll show you why. Because we are giving it a little prop to prop against. So for the most part, that's going to hold up nicely. All right, so hopefully you can see this. Let me tilt it up so you can see our finished. It's hard to hold the pieces in place while I turn it at an angle. So that's our almost finished piece. I have one more thing to add, and that's the stop for this. So what I did was I took our tiny scallop punch, which is also going away, and I punched out a piece of this designer paper just because it's going to coordinate. And then I took a piece of this paper, which is behind here, and I fussy cut out one of the flowers. Okay, so I have that already done, so you don't have to sit here and watch me do that. And I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of that because I need it to pop up just a little bit so that it can catch that. All right, so now let me put some glue on here, and then we'll decide where we want that to sit. That's sitting there. This one's sitting here. I want it to stop about there. So I'm going to put my stop right here. So it's a little accent, plus it's doing a job of holding that in place. Okay? I think that's it. Let me make sure I didn't miss any steps to tell you about. No, I think that's all. I really like how that turned out. I'm going to close this now so we can see the finished product, what it looks like from the outside. And once again, a little fullness there, but I really think the nice thing is it's got cardstock on either side. It's going to slide into your envelope, and it should slide through the feeder at the post office very easily. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will post directions cutting directions so that you know what you need for each layer. So you can go and make one of these. I would love to see your creations. There's so many options out there now with all of the new designer paper that's coming out. You are going to love, love, love all of the stuff. So I will see you. I will see you next week. Actually, I'm pre-recording this video. So at the time of this airing, our catalog is going to be live, so you're going to be able to purchase the products that I showed you here. All right. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that if you need anything, you will contact me, or you can go shop at stampandcindy.stampinup.net. Let me just give you that website again. And check out my blog. I will have this post there. I will have all the dimensions there for you. Okay. Take care. Have a good day. God bless.